Divine and royal greetings, family. Welcome to another session, another edition, another episode, a special edition of Built Through Broadcast with the Emerald Green Collective. This is part 2 of our broadcasting. We are here with the other half of, well, -1. Shout out to Coach Nikisha. Hopefully you all will get to meet her soon. But we do have Coach Courtney, Coach LaRae, and Coach Farasha here. And of course, Coach Latoya and Coach Shantae are also on the scene, crispy and clean. I had to do it. I just had to do it. Today, Coach Shantae will be moderating. Oh, and me, I'm included in the questions being asked today. So we hope that you enjoy this portion of the recording. And if you would like to book a session with any of the coaches that you see here, just follow the information in the description. And with that, I yield the mic. Coach Shantae, take it away.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to our Built Through broadcast. We are so excited for you to have an opportunity to get to know some more of the coaches that you have the opportunity to book your sessions with. And I think that we are going to start with Courtney. So I'm going to read Courtney's bio, and I'm going to go ahead and say this is an abbreviated bio. There is so much to share about Courtney. There's a lot to share about each and every one of us, but this is an abbreviated bio, and we'll get an opportunity for Courtney to share more about her journey with us. But without further ado, let me introduce you to the amazing Courtney Chester. Courtney Chester, natural health enthusiast, is a licensed professional counselor and certified holistic practitioner. Her impetus for this life work is to holistically remedy the various ailments of her family, community members, and herself. At age 27, she was diagnosed with adenomyosis and was given only 2 options: birth control or hysterectomy. This was not an acceptable solution, so she looked to nature. By listening to her body and using plant medicine, she is now symptom-free. Welcome to the mic, Courtney. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we're going to just dive right in with the questions. So we've got 3 questions for you and maybe a wild card. So your first question, we kind of know, but we'd love to hear a little bit more about it in your own words. What is it that ignited your healing journey personally, and what prompted you to spread that healing journey to others?
Yes, of course. Well, thanks for having me and sharing about me, sis. So I was diagnosed with adenomyosis after my last child. And I mean, it's really like endometriosis. So it's on the inside of the uterus instead of outside of the uterus, like endo. So the only cure they recommend is a hysterectomy. They actually say it's no cure, but the hysterectomy is supposed to help with something, and then birth control. And so after going to 4 different doctors, I even traveled to different cities just to kind of get different opinions. And each one, it was the same thing. It was birth control or a hysterectomy. And for whatever reason, it just didn't sit right with me. To make a long story short, my last doctor, at first, she was the first woman doctor that I had been to. So at first, she was very comforting and relatable. And then she was recommending the, what's the thing that they put inside of you? The one birth control? I forget. But
the IUD?
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So she was recommending that. And she's like, what do you have to lose, you know? And so I'm like, okay, I guess. And she was like, I have it. It's perfect. You know, I think it'll help you. So it's interesting because the day that I went to get it put in, I had a panic attack on the table right before she was going to insert it. And so I just felt really off, and they had to, like, you know, just help me out with a rag and that kind of thing. And long story short, it was over. She inserted it, and I just felt really, I don't know, I just felt strange. And so 2 weeks later, I was bleeding like crazy. I went to have her take it out, and she refused to take it out. So after she refused to take it out, I mean, I wasn't going to argue with her, right? At first, you know, I'm like, I don't want it in. And she's like, it's a $10,000 device. You haven't given it enough time, even though I know that my body wasn't liking it. So I ended up going to a different clinic, having it taken out immediately. And that's when I was like, I have to do something else. Like, I've been to 4 different doctors. No one seems to be hearing me. I feel like it's all about the money. They don't really understand, like, this isn't okay. And I don't want to be cut on at 27 if I don't have to be. So that's when I literally started to like look into podcasts, and I've ordered a bunch of books on Amazon and that kind of thing. And I stumbled upon one of the podcasts that Queen Afua was on. And I was like, yes, this is what I need, because she talks a lot about womb health. And so that kind of ignited my journey. Of course, I was on your typical standard American diet. And so I immediately cut off the meat. That wasn't hard for me at all. I started working on dairy, that kind of thing. And over time, like juicing and all of that, over time, I was like, I feel so much better in so many different ways. And so once I started to feel better, and, you know, social media, we live in that time, I would be sharing my journey. And so many people are like, like, well, could I buy juice off of you? Or like, can I ask you some questions? And so that kind of sparked that passion, I guess. Long story short, even though that was long.
Love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, because that is truly beautiful. So now, what would you say the greatest lesson that you've learned on this journey so far, either personally, professionally, or both?
So I think the greatest lesson is that our most powerful superpower is to be our truest self. And so, you know, just to be extremely bold and confident in who it is that you are called and created to be. It can be scary, but like facing your fears and just being your true self is like the best gift that you can give yourself.
Ashe, I can definitely, I took that in for myself. That's beautiful. All right. Yeah. So our final official question, what do you look forward to the most in the next 12 months, whether personally or professionally?
I get super excited about the future. So I'm one of those people who actually, I have to remind myself to stay present, but I'm just looking forward to the growth. You know what I mean? Like, as I was mentioning, like, I feel like I'm really just facing on some fears of mine, like head on. And so I feel like outside or on the other side of fear, there's just so much to be waiting for me, you know? So I'm just looking forward to all that God has for me, you know, whatever that looks like.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. All right. Now we have a moment. We're going to give Coach Latoya and Coach Shayola an opportunity. If either one of you has a wild card question for Coach Courtney, now is the time. Now is the time. What you got?
I got one. So I saw a beautiful post of you and your daughters a few days ago. And I thought, like, this is beautiful. What's one thing that you love about being a girl mom?
Well, so I have 2 boys and 2 girls, but with my girls, I love the fact that I'm learning so much about self-love and emotional intelligence and that kind of thing. As, you know, a holistic practitioner and a therapist, I just love that I get to share that with them and be vulnerable with them. And then everything that I'm learning about womb health, like my 9-year-old has her own yoni wash, you know, like, and we get to talk about vaginal health. And I didn't have these conversations growing up. So I don't know, I get really excited to be able to share with them information that I had to learn, you know, in my late 20s, you know? So it's just kind of exciting to set them up to be so much more powerful than me, because it's like, you want the generations to get better after you, you know? So that's what I most love, is like, they're going to be some bomb women.
Okay, then. I love that. Give thanks for answering. Give thanks.
Thank you, sis, for asking.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we are going to move on. Thank you, Courtney, so much for all that you shared. That is truly beautiful. And we look forward to learning even more about you and our other coaches. So next up, we have Coach Farasha. I'm going to read her bio. So step up to the mic. All right. So Farasha's bio says, greetings. I'm Sacred Woman and Heal Thyself practitioner Farasha. I'm originally from Jersey, but I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. We've got a lot of practitioners in the A. A lot. I was raised vegetarian, but after I had children, I started eating meat. After my third child, I rededicated to plant-based and raw food by educating myself and others on the sacredness of our body temple. I became a Sacred Woman spring 2021 and Heal Thyself practitioner fall 2021. And without further ado, welcome to the mic, Farasha.
Greetings.
Greetings, Farasha. So we've got the same 3 questions and a wild card on the table for you. So question number 1, we got into it a little bit, but what was it that ignited your healing journey personally? And then what led you to sharing that healing journey with others to become a coach?
Okay, well, when I got pregnant with my second child, I had preeclampsia. And then I got pregnant again right after, and then it got worse, and I ended up getting placenta previa. So I was just trying to figure out like what is happening to my body and stuff. You know, I'm still young and I'm having all this pain, and childbirth is supposed to be beautiful, but it was actually horrible the last 2 because I had 3 altogether. The first one was really good. That's when I was a vegetarian. So I noticed my body started changing after the last 2, and that's when I was a heavy meat eater. And then I decided to change when I joined Sacred Woman, and it helped me being with a lot of women who had like similar issues like me. And I decided, you know what, this is what I want to do. And here I am.
That's beautiful. That is truly beautiful. So Farasha, what would you say is the greatest lesson that you've learned so far, personally or professionally?
Personally, I feel as though when you eat healthy, you feel lighter, you could think straight, and you feel less depressed, you know, because when I was eating all the fatty food and was going through my issues, I was more depressed than happy, and I couldn't think right. But once I changed and started eating right, I said, this is what I got to stick to, and I'm going to do it with my boys. And I changed the whole family, and we've been on it. We're going to be, my goal is to be raw, totally raw. So I'm still working on that, you know. So that's what I'm doing right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, we have a lot of ladies here. We had our resident gentleman, wellness warrior Dom, here with us yesterday. So we absolutely value and appreciate the divine masculine, but it has been said multiple times that when you heal a woman, you heal a nation. And you can truly see that in each of our coaches, through our various experiences and stories, how our healing has just changed our families' lives and the lives of the people that we work with. So Farasha, we've got one more question for you, and then we're going to dip into the wild card bag. What do you look forward to in the next 12 months? Or as Shayola said, if you were to step into Farasha of, August 2023, what would that version of Farasha be experiencing and doing?
To be honest, I don't know, because I'm always thinking and doing a lot at the same time. But what I really would want is for me and my children to be better off, and them knowing more about the holistic healing, which I am teaching them because they're all vegan as well. They're not raw, but they're all vegan. And I would like to have like a community that has kids to learn how to, eat right, stay healthy, stay fit, and sorry, I'm getting tongue tied, and make their mind stronger, because we don't have a lot of holistic community really towards just the children. It's more so like the women and the men and things like that, but we have to focus more on the children, so because they're the next generation. So that's my goal, to have something out there that deals more so with the children, voicing their experience and things more.
That's beautiful. I love it. And I would definitely love to see that brought to fruition, because you are absolutely right. I have yet to see any real solid spaces for holistic kids. And, you know, that can sometimes lead to feeling like the oddball or the weird child. And you definitely don't want them thinking that the unhealthy way that people live their lives is normal, acceptable, and okay. We want to make sure that they know that this lifestyle that we're living, this elevated lifestyle that we're living, is worth it, and that there is value in it for them as well. So thank you, Farasha, for answering our 3 so far. So Coach Latoya, Coach Shayola, do either one of you have a wild card question for Coach Farasha?
Yes, I was, she kind of answered it as with the third question, because I was going to ask about your children and that experience of if they were always plant-based and what it's like being a plant-based mom with plant-based children. So that's what my question is.
Okay. No, that we wasn't always plant-based, but it was actually easy turning them plant-based, because I don't know, I just took everything out. I'm like, you know, this is what it is. And then I would show them videos of things to gross them out. So I would show them videos, and boys they're always hungry. That's another thing. They're always hungry. So I'm just like, I push fruit more at first. So I was pushing more fruits. And then I would like, I will mix a little bit of certain type of greens and season it up well. Put my Caribbean spice up in there. So it made it easier. And I just educate them every single time. Like if we pass by somewhere, they're like, oh, I want a burger. I'd be like, you mean a vegan burger? Like, you know, I would have to redirect them so they have it in their mind that vegan only. And then at the same time, you also have to let the family know, don't feed my children nothing that I'm not feeding them at home. Because, you know, especially the grandparents, they think that they could have they say, like, you're starving the children, where are they going to get their protein? Well, not on my dad's side, no, because I grew up Rasta, so they know more about it. But it was easier having like my dad and also involved, because he's older and he's grandpa. So yeah.
Great.
Now,
Thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry for cutting across you, Latoya. We're definitely going to have to revisit that Rasta upbringing situation again. There is so much knowledge in this collective, I tell you what. Thank you so much, Coach Farasha, for joining us and sharing with us today. We all greatly appreciate your story.
Thank you.
All right, so we're moving right along to the illustrious lawyer mommy, Lorraine, and I'm going to pull up her bio over here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then we'll ask her questions and then the wild card. All right. So
I feel like I need a new bio after I heard everybody else's, but I'll let you.
You want me to do Shayola first, and you can just
no, you can go ahead.
You can email it to me real quick.
We'll put another one on the website. Look.
Okay, we'll do that. All right, so Lorraine is a sacred woman and emerald green practitioner, Reiki master, attorney, and certified health and wellness coach. She is a proud mother of 2. Her holistic approach to coaching caters to high-level professional women and entrepreneurs, where she helps them find balance in their professional and personal lives, prevent burnout, and elevate on a personal, mental, spiritual, professional, financial, and relational level. Welcome to the stage, Lorraine.
Hi, how are you?
Doing splendidly, Lorraine. And we've got 3 questions for you and a wild card as well. So as you know, question number 1, what is it that ignited your healing journey, both personally and professionally?
Oh, yes. Okay. So mine was twofold. So I'm glad you asked that. I would say personally, after I gave birth to my daughter, when my period returned, it like came with a vengeance. And it was just a monstrosity. And so, prior to having her, my periods were, a couple of days, I'm in and out, never experienced cramping, like none of those things. After her, it's like cramping for days before the period has even come. Blood clots, huge ones, just like massive amounts of blood over the period of I would say 7 days, bleeding heavily, and then even like after stuff for like a week or so after. I mean, like 2 weeks out of the month, I'm out of commission, and so that was definitely something that was troublesome for me for sure. And I would say on a professional level, I think I felt really good as far as like business was concerned. I was doing well from the outside looking in, I was checking all the boxes. I had all of the things and, life was good pretty much. I was making enough money to support the lifestyle that I wanted to live. And I didn't have any real complaints, but it was just like something felt like that something wasn't right, it was still something that was missing. There was still this like void in my life. And for a while, I didn't really want to face it because I think I felt like ungrateful, almost like you have all of these things, and your life is wonderful and you have so much to be grateful for and truly blessed. But like, I just couldn't help but shake that feeling of like, no, there's something else that I'm missing, there's something else, out there for me. And so I really just started doing some research into different things. I was always like vegetarian anyway. I kind of grew up, I don't want to say in a holistic life because like we practice those things, but not necessarily like with the knowledge of the fact that that's what we were doing, So I didn't come from like, I've been learning so much being in this group for sure, but like, it's like some of the practices and things that I grew up with were already a part of like this holistic lifestyle. So I think I had a little piece of that. So once I started doing the research, that was really where I started. And it was probably my journey through Sacred Woman too that really sealed the deal for me, because for years I was on this journey of like healing and I'm trying all the things, I'm doing Reiki, I'm doing crystal therapy, I'm doing aromatherapy, I'm doing regular therapy, I've got coaches out the wazoo, I'm trying all the things. And I had the Sacred Woman book for years. I'm on like my 5th copy because I would buy it, start it, put it down, never pick it back up again. And so it was last year actually that I had decided at the beginning of the year, I'm like, no, I'm going to read this book. Like, I'm going to read it. I don't care if it takes me 4 months, I'm going to read it. And so as I'm getting into it, I'm seeing how like, it's not just a book that you read, it's like practices and things that you have to do. So I'm like, okay, this is serious. And so I remember looking for like somebody to go through it with me because I'm like, I'm gonna need some help. Like, this is not to be played with. I'm gonna need some help. So I'm asking like some of the friends I have, like, hey, I'm about to read this book, about Queen of Pua, and they're like, yeah, oh yeah, nope, not signing up. Like, definitely they weren't with it. And so I'm like, okay, fine. And it was literally one day I decided, I'm like, okay, I can't do all the things. I know I'm not going to be able to do all the things. I'm just choose the things that I can do and just be fine with that and work from there. And so the next morning I wake up on Instagram, you know how we do. And so I must have been following Queen of Fool for I don't know how long, but she never showed up in my feed. So as soon as I pop up on Instagram, Queen of Fool's page comes up and she's talking about the Sacred Woman Rites of Passage program. And I was like, wait, they have a program? Like, there's a thing where we like read the book collectively. And I'm like, so this was all the accountability that I was like, yes, this is exactly what I need for sure. And so when I signed up for the program, it was really just like all up from there. Definitely like being in the group with, you know, like-minded individuals, doing the work, having people who were holding me accountable for doing the work, having people I could be open and vulnerable with while I'm like going through all of the things, and definitely continuing and having this space for sure. So I think it was great. And honestly, after that process, I was really very much like, people need to know what this feels like, right? To get on the other side of like, oh, life is good, but like, no, life is amazing, you know, like, not to say that, you know, bad things don't happen, but just to be in that mindset where you're always able to like see the good in everything and know that ultimately things are working out for your best good, and just to like really live in that all the time. And so I hope that answered your question.
Absolutely. 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 So next question that we have for you, I think, is what is the greatest lesson that you learned professionally or personally? Or was that the last question I asked you?
No, you didn't ask the lesson, but you did
Okay.
add the professionally and personally.
Okay,
But,
I'm quantum leaping over here. So question number 2.
Honestly, I would say, and I know people say it all the time, so it sounds cliche, but it's really become like my statement of life, which is just trust the process, right? And so it's because like the more I think about things, even when like I'm working with a coach now, and a lot of times I'll be like, oh, I have this fear of like, maybe this fear of failure or this fear of this happening and this. And it's like, okay, well, give me an example of when that happened, you know? And it's like, oh, okay, I really can't even think of one, because like, oh, have I failed? But because when you think about it, like in the like, I'm sure I've tried things and didn't necessarily succeed at them, but like in the long run, was that a failure? You know what I mean? Like, look at where it's brought me, you know, moving forward. And maybe I needed to fail or not succeed at that thing for something else better to come into place, you know? And so it's really is that whole notion, like, honestly, of just really like living in the present moment and just trusting the process.
Oh yeah, that no matter how cliche it may be, we often forget that part, and we're trying to move, we're quantum leaping. We're trying to jump ahead of the lessons that we need to learn, which quantum leaps are great, but sometimes we really do have to go through that process and trust that process and the lessons that come behind it. So I definitely receive that as well. All right, Lorraine. So question number 3 for you. If you could go 12 months into the future and jump into Lorraine August 2023, what would you experience? What would life be like for you?
Ooh, I don't know that I have like a descriptive image of what it would look like, but I can say honestly, it would include doing less and enjoying more. That's for sure.
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. And I definitely pray that that comes through for you, because listen, I don't know anybody that wants to just do and do and do and do and be on at all times. We all love what we do, of course, but downtime is special.
Absolutely.
It's really special and very necessary. You got to recharge your batteries so you can come back strong. So, Latoya, Shayola, do either one of you have a wild card question for Coach Lorraine?
I have one. I know you said that you don't have a descriptive, I guess, picture of what that future would look like, but what is your next vacation spot?
Oh, I'm going to Costa Rica. Yes, and I'm gonna see our other emerald green practitioner, Amber. I'm gonna go spend some time with her as well. So I'm very excited about that.
And we're excited for you. So we have 2 of you that we can live vicariously through at least for a week or 2. It's great.
Absolutely.
Thank you for living for us. We
Yes.
appreciate you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Lorraine, for that share. We are going to move on to Coach Shayola Benta. She is our last and final coach for this recording, for this session, and we are excited to share some more about Coach Shayola. And then as our directory goes live, you can book with any of the coaches that you have seen, whether from our part 1 video or today's part 2 video. If you are excited and raring to go like we are, click the link down in the description and go ahead and get on the schedule. All right. So last but certainly not least is Coach Shayola Benta. Shayola Benta, aka your healer dealer, infuses ancient and futuristic healing modalities to empower. Shayola is an ancestrally trained vegan chef, certified doula, holistic practitioner, urban farmer, wealth building consultant, and the former director of the Heal Thyself School within the Queen of Food Wellness Institute. She is also creator of the Emerald Scarab Enterprises, a movement that focuses on organic nourishment for body, mind, spirit, and currencies. Welcome to the mic, Coach Shayola.
Thank you for having me.
You are absolutely welcome. Thank you for having us as well.
Give thanks and praise.
So, even though you made the questions, I'm gonna throw them at you, and I'm not gonna throw them at you in order because I'm gonna try to get the most authentic answers possible, not the ones that you may have thought of originally.
Okay,
all right,
that's fair.
So, Coach Shayola, if you could time travel 12 months into the future, what would life look like for you?
Life would be lighter. I would have mastered working smarter and not harder. I would have just returned from Benin, where I learned more, not only history, I love history, it's one of my favorite things, but culinary artistry, in which I can bring back to my family and friends here and create.
I love
Travel.
it. Love it. Definitely looking forward to catching some flights. We got some folks in here trying to catch flights, y'all.
Okay.
All right. Now we're going to go to our next question for you, which is what ignited your healing journey, both personally and professionally?
So personally, it was definitely 3 hospital stints. In my 20s, well, from an early age, my mom put me on birth control because I had endometriosis, which was really a result of the diet, which we didn't know for real. But by the time I had reached about 25, 26, I had 3 surgeries to remove kidney stones, right? And much like others in the group, like there has to be a better way. Something I am doing is not right, right? And I didn't learn really what kidney stones were until I went through the Sacred Woman Rites of Passage. But that wasn't until 2017, right? So pain, a lot of pain ignited the journey. And then just realizing my ancestry, we have a lot of colon issues, which took me on a journey. You know, once we're flooded in the colon, that's unprocessed feelings and all the things. So, you know, the bankruptcy, because I definitely had to file bankruptcy. I mean, I gathered hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of doctor bills just because of what I was eating or a lack thereof. Like I literally had mucus for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and just didn't know. I just really didn't know that that is what it was. And then when I went through, now I've always prepared food. That's my gift. I had learned how to make a whole Thanksgiving meal by like 14. So I love being in the kitchen. But when I went through Sacred Woman, that journey was catapulted by something else. But I was able to learn what you should and should not be doing for the body. But like Coach LeRae, I felt like everybody should know how it feels to be on the other side of health. You know, I didn't really do colonics and enemas and all the things. And yeah, what ignited was everyone needs to know what it feels like to have wholesome foods, and everyone should know what it feels like to have a lighter gut, you know, removing years of waste from the colon. So that's, you know, in a nutshell, what sparked it.
That's beautiful. Truly beautiful. All right. This is your third known question. Your third known
Okay.
question. What
Third
is
known.
the greatest lesson you've learned personally or professionally?
Okay, so personally, not to take things personally, right? Setting clear boundaries, and both in my professional life and in my personal life, which was very hard for me because my nature is to give. But when I learned more about myself, I definitely was not giving from a full cup. So oftentimes that will leave room for resentment. So now I've learned, you know, when you fill up, you're able to give from your overflow. So there's no resentment. You give with boundaries, no resentment. Everyone's clear, or hopefully, you know, on the road to being clear. And professionally, really the same. Just saying what you meaning what you say. Showing up even when you may not feel like it. You know, so going with the flow as well has been a great lesson for me, trusting the process, which didn't come naturally. I really had to learn to trust the process, for sure.
Absolutely. Totally understand and understand and overstand that as well.
Mhm.
So we have time for one more wild card question for Coach Shayola, and we're going to open the floor. Coach Latoya, Coach Courtney, Coach LeRae, Coach Farasha, do any of you have a question that you would like to ask Coach Shayola?
Yep, I'll take this one. Look. Yes. So my question to you, Coach Shayola, would be, what tools do you use? Or if you don't have to use any tools, what is it that keeps you from reverting back to the old Shayola?
Haven't experienced wholeness, right? I love the space that I'm in. You know, I'm 42. It took a long time to appreciate who I was as a being. And I know what it feels like not to love myself. I know what it feels like not to make those self-care deposits. I know what it feels like not to be loved for your authentic self. And now that I have those things, I definitely desire to maintain them. So being quiet more and just really relishing in the present, just being present. And not, I used to worry a lot. I don't know why, but I did. So to bring that full circle, it would just be to really remain in the present, right? Because where I am is a result of decisions that were made 6, 12, 2 years ago. So if I remain present and prepare for the future, I will be where I desire to be because I plan to be there. So
yes, give thanks.
Give thanks. Give thanks. That was a great question.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, LeRae. Thank you, Coach Latoya, Coach Courtney, Coach Farasha, Coach Shayola, for coming in today, for sharing a bit of your time, sharing a bit of yourselves and your story, allowing more people to get to know us and understand who they get the opportunity to work with. We are very excited to continue to bring this healing to the community, sharing our knowledge, sharing our community, sharing our spirit. And once again, we are excited to work with you. So if you are ready to get started, go ahead and click that link, book your consultation. You have a plethora of amazing people that you can choose from. Go ahead and get started. The only thing that you have to lose is the stuff that you don't want anyway. So go ahead and get on the calendar and drop that weight, whatever that weight may be, so that you can get on your journey to wholeness, your journey to fullness, your journey to happiness, your journey to internal peace and joy, and just live your life to the fullest. And with that, I yield the mic to Coach Shayola.
Give thanks, give thanks. This was amazing. And I'm just so excited to reach this destination of being able to share our directory with everyone. And we hope that, you know, we had our in-house call, Built Through Book Club. And, you know, I was just mentioning that I feel like you all are my comrades, you know, as we are out here in these streets, you know, on a battlefield trying to bring health and wellness, you know, to our family, friends, community, and the world at large. So, you know, we'll be here every Friday at 12:30 p.m. So, you know, if you have any topics that you would like us to cover, feel free to put it in the comments. We will certainly indulge. And hopefully we can have more of the practitioners come on or come in, or we'll do what we're doing today, which is pre-recording. And it's hard to get 9 people together, believe it or not. You know, like it's a thing, but I'm so happy that everyone was able to come. So with that, I yield the mic to anyone who may have some closing. You know what, before we close out, what I would like to do is read our mission statement, right? So people can really understand. Hopefully, you know, we said enough for you to understand what we're doing. But shout out to Coach Shantae for revamping our mission statement. I would share my screen, but it looks a little weird. I got all these tabs open, so I'm just going to read it. But before I read it, does anyone else have anything that they would like to add?
I just want to say that I'm super excited. We're going to do so many amazing things. We're already doing amazing things. There's so much good work to be done.
And so it is. Give thanks, Coach Courtney. We appreciate you. So a little about us. Greetings and welcome to the Emerald Green Collective. We are grateful for the gift of your presence. We are a collective of healers and holistic practitioners, trained and certified under Queen Afua. And we are grateful that you have chosen to allow us to join you on your healing journey. When you book a holistic wellness consultation, it's a little bit more, but relative. You will receive a radionics energy reading with a crystal pendulum to determine your spiritual and physical wellness needs, helpful tips, tools, and insight to help create a wellness lifestyle and begin your journey to self-healing. Note, we are not physicians. We cannot treat or diagnose dis-ease. We can and do offer helpful, proven lifestyle strategies to support your body's innate ability to heal itself using natural, holistic remedies. We look forward to serving you. So click the link to book your consultation. And again, I just think that really does, you know, explain this in a nutshell. So I'm so happy to take this journey with each and every one of you. So Queen would normally close us out with this, and feel free to rewind so that you can, you know, take these words in. So coaches, feel free to unmute if you like to say it along with me, you know, no pressure. But we do know, and no buts, the power to heal is within us. And we have the mighty power to heal ourselves. We are healers, and we are healing ourselves. We are healing our relations, for all of our relations are our reflection. Therefore, as we heal ourselves, we heal all of our relations. So your self-care is your health care, and that's the best care. So take care. Until the next time, we say peace, love, and wholeness.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.